Welcome to the Figure Zone. Today we have a 1/6 scale custom dark side Rey I'm working on. This is going to be a tutorial on how to work any kind of body, any kind of figure, mostly if you're working a dark side Rey or pretty much any kind of body. This may be a long one. So, I got the Asian shaped detachable foot wheat skin middle bust, Jiaou Doll, and I got this because mostly Fisons don't match the colors. So again, this is a very close representation to a female body. Now there's disclaimers on here again. This is for ages 15 and up. This shows you some of the poses this can do. This is a steel skeleton with some plastic skeleton also in there too. These things are very freaking sturdy, and they have silicone on the outside, medical grade silicone. Now these things have many uses. Again, this is not a sex toy. This thing is used for photography industry, for postures. This can be used for the education industry, for fine art college, for art modeling. People used to pay people to sit there for art projects. Now you can just get one of these things. Gamers can use these things for modeling. You can also use these things if you're an artist, for sculpting, or if you're painting, or game modeling, advertising, fashion manufacturers, photography lovers, all kinds of cool stuff. Here's the body. And yes, this is steel top up here, and this is very close to a real body, so that's why people use these things for various reasons, for artistic reasons, and these things are great. Here is the first Rey head. This is a third-party head I got off eBay a while ago. Now this head is amazing. It's based off of the Force Awakens Rey. It looks amazing, but it's very dark. I don't know if because it's like a recast head, they kind of painted it a little bit darker. So it took me a while to find a body, to find it kind of close. You can see it's still just a bit off, but not too bad. I originally had a very cool body on here, and I can't seem to get a match. So I had a Fison body, that didn't work. So we got this Jiaou Doll, which seems to work pretty well. Now, I got these basic parts off of eBay. This is like a gown kind of thing, and it's got the neck covering. So, because she's a little bit off with the colors, I decided to cover her neck up. So, I thought that was a pretty good trick. This little ball at the back was like silver. Kind of used a marker and painted it black a little bit because it just stood out too much. I didn't realize it was even there when I bought the thing, but what are you going to do? So, it came with a bunch of extra stuff, like some bracelets and like a leg strap. Do what you want with those. Not going to use them for my Rey figure. Throw them in a pile for some extra customizing. These are just some basic pants. They're kind of stretchy, which is good. I figured stretchy, basic material. I wanted to go material with materials, like materials, and not like a leather with like a different material. I wanted to go all kind of same. When I originally bought these things, they were supposed to have the feet holes open. But I got this thing, of course, from China, and the feet were covered, so what I did was I just took the scissors and I just kind of chippity snipped and cut tiny little holes at the bottom of the pants so the ball joints on the feet can stick out. And these are also some basic boots, and I figured these had a cool look for her. And you can see it's great design on these things. These things look frickin' awesome. And unfortunately I left like a foot peg in there for my original Rey, but I'm going to yank this thing out. And these are just one-piece boots, but they got the pegs inside of them. You can get ones that are hollow or ones that have pegs. You can see the peg is stuck in there, but you just take your needle nose pliers, yank that mamma jamba out, you're good to go. And you can pop the new one in. See my previous videos too for if you have a custom figure that has the feet attached. Now you can turn these things into a two-piece boot. Just cut below a seam so it looks like seamless. You can pretty much take an X-Acto knife, cut that thing all around, and you can pop it off and you have yourself a two-piece boot. I figured I didn't need to because the pants, the material I chose, were thin enough. These are two arm gauntlets, little material. I figured Rey originally had like these little arm gauntlets going on throughout the whole movies, so I figured I'd give her some arm gauntlets, but black of course, because they just look cool. And a lot better than the white ones or the gray ones. I give her more of a black motif. These hands I got from the very cool body. For some reason you just get 3 black gloved hands. You don't get like a good gripping hand. You get like a trigger finger, an open hand, and a slightly more expressive hand. I wish we would have got like a more gripping hand. Or you can just use like another hand that comes with the body, or use the hands on the actual figure. But I wanted to give her more gloves. So this was the very cool body where I got those things from. They're great bodies, but I wanted to go with this all steel one just because of the skin tone. I picked up this belt also. It's very cool. It's detailed. It's got 2 little hooks on it in case you ever want to hook like a lightsaber onto it. You have to rig something up to stick it on there. This back piece is a freaking pain. You have to like put these little tiny straps through the first one like a regular buckle. Not easy. You'll see what I do with this one. Pain in my butt. So yeah, fun. This is a basic Darth Maul double-bladed saber from the Sideshow 1/6 scale Darth Maul. And it's a Sideshow, so therefore it was all jaggedy and bent looking. So I just dipped it in the old hot water and took it out really quick, shaped it the way I wanted, ran underneath the cold water, and kind of just pushed down the spots where I needed to, and then bent it where it was, where it needed. It's not 100% perfect, but it's still way better than it was before. It looked like a freaking Hasbro zigzaggy turd. But yeah, I fixed it up just a little bit. So, much better. Now this body's got the detachable feet, so that's why I got the boots with the peg in them. I just want to really quickly show you how you get these things off. They weren't super easy to get off. You kind of got to get a good grip, but you feel like you're breaking the thing because of the skin. You're kind of smushing it. So, once you get them off, you got the peg down there, which is steel also, so that goes right inside your boot, which is nice because if you don't have that, you got to go with the hollow boots. So these weren't the easiest to get off. I just hate pulling these things off with those weird skin, the silicone skin that's on the figure. But once you get them off, you are ready for your next phase. Okay, this is the one thing I don't like about this body. It is extremely hard to get these hands off. I'm struggling here. Look at this. It's not easy. I'm pulling and pulling and pulling, and I feel like I'm gonna rip the arm, and pretty much, yeah. Hang on a sec. One of the tricks to getting hands off that are freaking stuck is get like a cloth. I didn't have a shirt or anything available. You can use a sock or a t-shirt, and this time I just used a napkin wrapped a couple times. Get a good grip on the figure, and it just comes right off. You're using the napkin or the cloth mostly to protect the figure from scratches with any kind of pliers or any kind of instrument you're pulling the things off with. And as you can see, much better. I struggled for about 5 minutes with these things before I decided, let's just do this. Because you want to be gentle with your figures, at the same time, it's this body, these hands just don't want to cooperate. They do not like coming off. Once you get it off, it looks a little weird. I was like, oh crap, I broke it. But then I just moved it around, shuffle your body around, you're good to go. And once you get those off, victory. Then you get your stuff, get the frick out of the way. So, yeah. Stupid hands. And adjust everything, make sure everything's good, make sure you didn't rip anything, because you don't want to rip the silicone skin on these things, especially in the back, so those things can tear. I've heard horror stories. Okay, once you got the hands off, that way it's easier, and the feet off, it's easier to slide on the clothing. That's why I take those off, or else you're just going to have a hard time. Now, some people, you can actually take some cling wrap, some basic food cling wrap, wrap the legs to get the pants on, and any kind of arms, but I figured these pants are kind of stretchy. They're not like a super leathery material, and they weren't too bad to get on. I sped this up, as you can see, because this took like 20 minutes altogether to get this stuff on. And that's boring to watch, so keep pushing, pulling, and slowly moving up each little piece. You don't want to pull too hard, because you're going to rip the pants. And just like SpongeBob, rip pants. You don't want that. So keep going from the bottom, try to pull as much as you can. Being weary, of course, of the silicone body. You don't want to like pinch that and rip anything. So you get it to a point. Now, I'm not too worried about the wrinkles near the feet area because her boots are pretty big. So they're pretty tall. So I just mainly want to get the feet through so you can see the ball joint through the bottom of the pant leg. If you don't get that ball joint popping out when you go to put the boot on in the peg hole, it's just not going to fit 100%, and it might get a little bit loose over time where you think you got it in there, but then your foot falls off later on. and you need to get those pegs into the bottom of the foothold there, you know, or else the figure's not going to stand up. And she stands up pretty well. This body is pretty sturdy for this kind of stuff. So as you can see, this is double time. This is how long it takes to pull these fracking pants up. And, you know, I didn't even know what side the front or the back of the pants were. It's just a pair of pants. Again, this is all like eBay bought stuff. So it's kind of like, yeah, it works. So yeah, make sure you expose those things first. Make sure your body's all good afterwards. You didn't like contort your body or bend something strange. And best way to get most clothing on is to raise your hands if you're sure. And it was easier for this one because this one is just a like an evening gownish Cheng Song kind of skirt kind of deal thing here. I figured it'd be a cool look for her. You know, more dark side. She's more like, I'm Rey, as opposed to, I can just move stuff and, you know, I'm better than you. This is more her confident. This is her trying to look a little bit cooler. And sometimes the Sith look a little bit cooler than the Jedi, which sometimes look a little boring. So again, raise up the arms. When you're putting on any kind of shirt in these rubber bodies, again, you can put the cling wrap on. I decided not to because this is some pretty stretchy material, and I figure I can just stretch everything around. As you can see, it's just a slow process. Just take your time. You don't want to rip the clothing you just got, especially if you order it from like China, and you pretty much have to, you rip it, you're going to have to put off your build and have to wait, and then your custom's going to sit there for another, 3 weeks or 2 weeks, whenever they get the thing. Hopefully no boat gets trapped in the Suez Canal, or your boat gets sunk or something, and you don't want to do that. So just take your time, and once you get everything on, just slowly adjust everything. Take your time with it, and just move everything around where it's got to go. Put the arms back down, make sure everything's all cool, make sure your body's not all bent out of shape everywhere. Keep everything nice and perfect, so that way when you go to do the next thing, you don't have to worry too much about your body looking all wacky and stuff. And again, just take your time. I can't stress that enough. You can rip the thing, and you're gonna have to wait. So, and this one was not too bad to do. It was quite easy. And the belt. I didn't order another belt. This is from a previous build. So it's like a real belt. They want you to put these little tiny thin fake leisure-ish, there you go. Some fake leather straps, through these like actual like working pieces. So I got it halfway on before I put the body on, and I'm just going to kind of slide it up. So you can sometimes slide the belts on without taking them apart. This one I prefer to have like a hook thing or something where you can just press the button, it releases it. But this doesn't have this. Has these wacky straps. So I advise not to get this kind of belt because it's a pain. And like I say, you can slide these in, slide them up. If you get a belt with a clasp, it's just much easier. You can make your life much easier in trying to do this, because it took me an hour originally to get this belt on because of these tiny straps. You need like 4 hands. So I just kind of, you got to use like tweezers and trying to push those things through. Then get the strap under one side, put the strap under the other piece, and then weave the strap through this little strap holder area. And it's just not easy, and it's just a pain. So don't get this kind of belt. Stay away from those kind of things. What I did was I pretty much just got it through, and then for the meantime, I kind of just did a quick fix on the thing. And when I finished the video up, I took the thing back, and you can see I put a piece of tape on there just to kind of put it on there for the meantime, just to make my life easier. You could pretty much cheat and do that stuff. If something does break, especially on like a blackish leather looking thing, you won't notice it too much. Take a small piece of like electrical tape and just kind of cut it to the size you need, and you can fix up any kind of clothing piece, like any kind of leatherish looking strap thing, as long as you hide that piece enough for the meantime. I mean, I went back eventually and took this leather piece off and partially got those things through. It took like 40 minutes, so I just kind of gave up and put the things through a different area, then this took the tape off. But yeah, there's ways around these things. Try when you're looking for pieces for your builds to find the easiest pieces, not super intricate, because you want to make this fun. And when you're all angry and annoyed at your figure, it's just no fun at all. So you want to have fun building these things. That's why we're doing it, to make this awesome thing. and you're getting aggravated, and it's like, ah. So once you get the thing hooked up there with a belt, you can pretty much just move things around. I like the two little hooks on the belt. That's one of the main reasons why I got it too. It looked almost like a Jedi belt. I didn't want to spend like $50. Over here is the boots. So again, expose those pegs. Get those things ready to go. And kind of pull up a little bit in the leg. Keep going until you... So I didn't hear a pop with this one, but I can feel it. It actually went in. Just double check them again. And you can see there's a little bit of wrinkles again on the legs. I didn't mind too much down low because the boots are covering that. These boots are almost way up to her knees. So just kind of check around, see if your boots are on, and then you're pretty much good. You'll see, because when you stand up the figure, you'll see one side, leaning a little bit taller than the other. So double check them, triple check them. Sometimes you can hear just an audible pop, and you know that boot or the foot's on. This one was a little bit different. Now, when you're dealing with sleeves, like arms on the figures, if you're especially like with this kind of thing here, I like these little arm sleeves. And just like bracelets in general on some figures, putting the things on, it's sometimes you get lucky and it goes right on, but this is a silicone skin. So when you push against it, it has some give to it, and it'll actually start to like bunch up, like taking real skin, like squeezing your hand, your arm, and pushing up, it bunches up a little bit. So when you're trying to get these things on, sometimes it's just... Sometimes you get them on easy, but you can see it's just not going on all the way. So there's some tips and tricks for that stuff. So now what you could do is take some basic cling wrap that you have sitting around for food and containers. And what you do is cut it to the size of the actual sleeve you're going to put on. Or if you're covering the whole entire arm, just put the whole thing on the whole entire arm. And pretty much just get it to the point where it wraps around like maybe once, maybe a little bit more, so it touches, so it clings together. Then you can pretty much just trim off the excess that you don't need. You don't want it too much on there, or else it looks like the arms are all like super beefed up and it's going to be all crinkly and funky looking. Especially if you're wearing like no sleeve like this thing. This sleeves you can't really tell. It can be a little bit bunchy. And it won't be able to tell too much, but if it's more of like skin tight, leatherish kind of thing, you don't want all like weird bumps going through the arms. So pretty much after you get that on, you can pretty much just slide the thing on. Just take your time, of course, especially with like sleeves. These are not that easy because again, it's silicone skin, so the arm is starting to bunch up even with the saran wrap on, but it does go a little bit quicker. So you get it to the point where you might have some excess going on there. So very carefully with the tweezers, you want to just slowly get exactly where you want, get the sleeve exactly where you want. And pretty much from there, you just take the tweezers and you can kind of pull very gently. Also, be careful of the body, of course. You don't want to poke the body. I should have used the plastic tweezers, but the ones that I have aren't that strong. They kind of get funky and buckle on me. So, use the tweezers, use your hands, take your time again. You don't want to ruin these bodies. And once you get the thing where you want it, you're going to have some excess cling wrap going on. You could pretty much just take the tweezers in there too and just kind of pull out the little pieces that you don't need. And I wouldn't advise cutting. The scissors too close to that, it can be a little bit rough. Peel off anything you can with your hands. Take the basic tweezers and kind of just, yoink, take the little pieces out. Once you get close and you don't want to get too close to the sleeve or the body, you could take one of those little clear plastic clothing adjusters that you get like Hot Toys figures, and you could pretty much just take that thing and just push the cling wrap into the sleeve a little bit. So nothing to worry about too much. If you've got a whole arm going on, you won't be able to see anything. Same thing with the bottom part too. When the hand peg is there, make sure you don't have any cling wrap on there too. You want a complete, solid, clear metal piece. And the same thing with the other arm. Again, try to cut it to the point if you've got a sleeve going on. Cut just what you need, or else you have too much excess and you're going to spend your time pulling away pieces of cling wrap. Not fun. So again, wrap the thing around, same as the other one, and kind of just gently put the thing on. So I just wanted to show you both sides really quick to show you this whole build and see exactly what it goes through to make these builds. Some are easy, some are just quick. You got a shirt, just pop it on, but I wanted to go with more of these sleeve kind of things. So it's more of in tune what I want her to look like. Again, these are your own custom figures. You can make it look any way you want. Choose any kind of things you want. Now when I was pulling on that sleeve on the other side, it's like a sleeve and there's like a wrap going on. And unfortunately, I kind of broke the wrap piece. So you can always just fix that either with a piece of black tape or Gorilla Glue. Take that Gorilla Glue, pop a little dab on there, put the thing on, and you're freaking good to go. Now when you get a 1/6 scale third-party head, sometimes the ball joints are a little bit tight to put on. So there's an inner piece here. You can yank that out sometimes if you want. I find it sometimes easier if you can just pop that out nice and easy. Then you pop it over top of the metal peg on there, and you'll hear a click once it goes on there. Then it's pretty much secured. So now when you put the head on, you can pretty much adjust where you want it. This is the one major thing I do not like about this Jiaou Doll action figure body. These hands were not easy to get off, as you've seen previously, and now trying to get the hands on is a struggle. Take a look. You try to put the hand on, the metal peg moves. You don't want to squeeze too hard because you don't want to like damage the actual figure, and you don't want to damage the clothing, especially if it's like a leather. If you press too hard on a piece of leather, you're going to destroy your leather. So you got to be really careful doing this. So again, I just try to pop them on nice and easy, but nope, not nice and easy. Try the other side. No. Sometimes you could take some tweezers, make the hole a little bit bigger to kind of like slightly carve out a little piece, see if that works. And yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work. That doesn't work. The next thing to go is Plan B. The struggle is real. Now, once you're done wasting your time, throw those hands in some boiling hot water from the microwave and dry them off really fast. And take that hand, jam it the frick on. It makes it nice and malleable. Once you get that hand on, you'll feel amazing. Everything will be perfect. Victory. So yeah, that's what you want to do there. Now, same thing with the other hand too. I took the dumped it in the water really fast, boiling hot water, then just took like a end of a screwdriver and kind of just made the hole slightly tiny bit bigger. It didn't do very much because the hand is super malleable right now. You can pretty much squish the hand in your hand. It feels pretty good. So that's the best way to get these things on. Then you can pop it on without destroying your figure. And again, victory. You win, stupid doll. Son of doll. So yeah, that's what you do. Throw it in the water. Save yourself some time and aggravation, because I had plenty of that. Adjust your figure. Make sure you didn't break anything. Last thing I like to do is pop the head on, because I don't want to damage the head while flinging the figure around, trying to yank off hands and feet and stuff like that. And pretty much just go over your figure. Double check everything. Make sure nothing got messed up. Readjust things that got to get readjusted. Check the body. Make sure everything's all good to go. And you can pretty much have an awesome looking figure. And I'm super happy with the way this turned out. Original one, you can see the arms hanging out and it just didn't look well. The color's just slightly off still from the head to the body, but this is the best one I can find. I'm not going to keep dropping $60 every single body to try to find the right one, because every time you see these bodies online, the pictures are completely different with the color. It's like one looks dark, one looks lighter. It's like, what? So as to be expected, you're pretty much, just hoping for the best. And this is a JO-Q10C-BS figure. Now, this is like one of the darker figures. I think there's an even darker one, but I don't, again, want to spend $60 to try to hope for the best. So, yeah, just adjust your figure. Again, you can use that little poker thing I was telling you about. Push down some of the excess cling wrap. You're freaking good to go. Just ahead, of course. And you got yourself an awesome looking figure. So, yeah. I'm super happy with the way this thing turned out. What I'm going to do next is put her on a turntable, and you can see some poses and a little bit more of the detail in the figure. And my Rey's journey to the dark side is complete. I'm totally happy with this figure. She looks frackin' awesome. I gave her more of a, I don't know, a sexier kind of look to it, as opposed to just the basic clothes that are all like loose and hanging off and all flapping around and stuff like that. I think this looks a little bit cooler. And she's got Darth Maul's lightsaber because she uses that giant staff. So I figured, hey, she must be a staff user, so I think she would use a double lightsaber. So eventually in one of the movies there, you actually saw her pop up with that weird flippy double lightsaber, which is kind of cool. So I was like, yes. I originally made this thing about a couple months after I got the original head when the movie came out for The Force Awakens. So I'm super happy the way she turned out. It's a great figure. You can pretty much use any kind of clothing you want for this thing. Again, it's your figure. Customize it any way you want. Here she is with the Hot Toys Sith Trooper. These dudes look awesome. I've got this guy and I've got the Jet Sith Trooper too. These guys look amazing. Just the red and the black scheme colors, it just looks frickin' awesome. So she looks great with these guys. He looks great on any kind of shelf with any sort of troopers, or if you have the these trilogy figures, they look really awesome together. And I figured she could use a couple guards with her. Basic troopers look cool, but these guys just stand out like big time. And here she is with Kylo Ren. Now this is how I envisioned the Last Jedi, or the last time I enjoyed a Star Wars movie there happened, when Kylo Ren's like, join me, together we'll rule the universe. I figured she should have said yes. They could have joined forces, overthrown the Emperor, take him down, overthrow anybody they want, pretty much. She's still enough good inside of her to the point where she might be able to change Kylo a little bit. He was turning into more of the Ben Solo kind of thing there. So they could have just easily just became better and not dictators, and just became more rulers, but at the same time, good rulers, Maybe get some elected officials. So, yeah, this is how I envisioned it. This is what I was thinking when I originally was creating her partner for Kylo. So, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy it. It was a long video, but I want to show you every little detail that you go into making these things. Sometimes it's not easy, sometimes it's not quick, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. And what you get in the end is well worth it. She looks amazing. I'm super happy. Hope you guys enjoy it. Please subscribe. Helps out my channel big time. And remember, just because this is a Jiaou doll, it's not a doll, it's an action figure.